Hi guys, welcome back to Real Estate Informed, and today's question was, should you buy a house or should you buy a duplex or fourplex? And so my answer to that is it depends. And the reason it depends is it depends on your family, it depends on the market, and it depends on the cash on cash return. There's lots of variables, and I'll give you examples of it. Let's say you're a growing family. You can either buy a fourplex or you can buy a single family home. Now, each of those plays, what I can say is you can go either way. It just depends on your market. If your market is super inflated and prices are high, it's going to be hard finding a duplex that's within reason. So I would say maybe go for a house that you could hack. And hack, I mean, is buy it undervalued in a great area so that when you buy, you have instant equity. Maybe a fixer-upper, maybe not a major rehab because this is your first house, but something that's like a fixer-upper, something that's maybe, built in the 80s or 90s that needs to be upgraded. So you can get a loan on the house, but you need to go in, fix it up, renovate it a little bit while you can still live in it, and then you'll have instant equity, sweat equity, not instant equity, sweat equity in the home. I would say do that. Okay, suppose you don't have a home and you're a growing family and you're in a market where duplexes and fourplexes are the same price as single family homes. You can also house hack a different way. Instead of going for the, I would say like a wedge deal in a home, you can buy a duplex and live on one side and rent out the other side, but make sure that the duplex you buy is like maybe under rented so that you can raise the rents, or there's got to be something that you can improve, that you can add value to, whether it's not been updated or whatnot. But always try to find property that you can add value to, because that's your sweat equity. And it doesn't matter if it's a single family house, a duplex, a fourplex, it doesn't matter. It's got to be something that you can add value to, increase rent so that you can increase the value of the property and at any point take the value out of the property. So there's no direct answer to if it's should I get a fourplex, a duplex, or a single family home. It depends on your market. Some markets, like in the Seattle area, a duplex is like $800,000, while you can get a house for like $400 to $450. So in my opinion, if it's your first house and you have a growing family, buy a house. There's also tax incentives to that, as in you can live in the house for 2 years, and after 2 years, if you're married, $500,000 is tax free of profit that you can make on that house. So you can go the house route, or you can go to the fourplex or the duplex route. It depends on your market and it depends on your family. Some families, you can buy a fourplex and live in a 2-bedroom, 1-bath and rent out the 3 units. Some people don't prefer living like that. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. You can go the house hack route, where you buy a house that needs improvements and sweat equity, and you can provide that for that house, live in it for 2 years, move out of it, either rent it, maybe take some money out, or sell it tax free. And if you're married, you get $500,000, up to $500,000 tax free of profit that you make on that house. So in order for that house to be valuable to you, you have to get it, obviously, sweat equity type of situation, but also it has to be in an area that continues to rise, that continues to grow. And then if you already have a house and you're looking for an investment property, you're thinking, hey, should I buy another single family home, or should I go for a duplex or a fourplex? And my answer to that would be, if you already have a home and you like where you live and you don't really want to move, then you don't have to buy another house. You can go for the duplex or the fourplex. But my thing is, at least get 10 to 15. I prefer 20%, but in these inflated prices, especially in the Seattle area, you're not going to get 20%. But depending on what market you're in, again, if you're somewhere in the Midwest, you can get 20% cash on cash return. But I would say at least 10% cash on cash return on the current rents. And then you always buy with sweat equity, knowing that you can raise the rents. And not because if the market rents are $1,500, or say the market rents are $1,800, and this property, the rents are $1,500, then you can buy it knowing you could raise the rents. But if the market rents are $1,500, this property is $1,500, and you think you're just going to walk in and raise the rents to $1,800 when the market doesn't show that, please don't do that. That's not how it's done. That's not how real estate investors do it. That's not going to work for you. It might work in an inflated market, but in general rule, follow the market. And if the general 2-bedroom 1-bath are renting for 1,500, then that's what you're gonna get. Don't try to up it, be like, hey, I'll change the counters and get 1,800. I mean, it's possible, but I wouldn't buy a property thinking that. So my points are: sweat equity. It doesn't matter if it's a single family home or a duplex or a triplex or a sixplex. If it's got sweat equity, something that you could improve on the property, something that you could buy right now that can be accepted by a loan, because the property can't be too far gone that you can't even get a loan on it. So it has to be something that's maybe, built older, that hasn't been renovated. Buy something like that, whether it's a fourplex or a single family, depending on your family and your situation. And then put your sweat equity in, live in it for 2 years, or buy it for 2 years, and then try to renovate it or take money out of it. If it's an investment property, try to take some equity out of it. If it's your house, think about selling it after 2 years and take all that tax-free money, or just putting it up for a rental. It all depends on your market and your family situation. Some people that they have 3 kids. Well, then it's gonna be harder to move into like a duplex and live on one side with 3 kids. You might want to go the house hacking method. But the bottom line is, the point of the video is that it doesn't matter what the property is, buy right. And buy right and make sure you have sweat equity into the property. Buying a property that's already renovated, already set to go, and buying it, unless you know that there's going to be some severe appreciation in that certain neighborhood, unless you got that crystal ball, I would do something that needs sweat equity. And there's deals out there that you can find, whether it's on market or off market. All right. So hopefully that, guys, answers your question. This is Kevin from Real Estate Informed. That's my video for today. Please thumbs it up. Please subscribe. And if you have any questions for future videos for me to answer, leave them in the comments below and I'll answer them. All right. Thanks, guys. Stay blessed.